Space, endless and silent. A canvas of cold stars and distant mysteries. But even in silence, there are whispers, echoes of worlds lost to time and to gravity. In 2037, Earth's most secretive mission, Eclipse-One, embarked on a course to the edge of known space, to the orbit of Sagittarius X-9, a black hole so ancient, even light had forgotten its name. Led by Captain Ayaan Malik, the crew wasn't there to study the singularity, but something hidden within its grasp, an alien installation, older than our sun, built impossibly close to the event horizon. As they approached, the stars stretched and warped. Time slowed. Instruments failed to trust themselves. But there it was, the base. Metallic. Silent. Suspended in gravity's cruel ballet. No signs of life, yet everything screamed that it once thrived. Inside, they found symbols carved into walls like prayers, etched in circles, spirals, patterns echoing across dimensions. At its core, an energy matrix, somehow drawing from the black hole itself, feeding off its fury. Then, the signal. Faint. Repeating. A frequency no human ear could hear, yet Ayaan felt it. Like a memory that never was. A name whispered directly into his mind, Valari. Deeper within, a chamber. And within it, a figure. Pale. Still. Not dead, not alive. The alien's eyes opened, black, ancient, knowing. With no words, it showed Ayaan a vision. Its people had tried to harness the black hole, to bend time, to open a gateway beyond galaxies. But the hole had fed too deeply, and consumed them. They had become prisoners of their own brilliance. Now Ayaan had a choice. Leave. Seal the story forever. Or activate the core, and risk everything to understand. He chose understanding. As the core awakened, the base hummed with new life. The alien stirred. Light shifted from red to blue, systems realigning after millennia of silence. But something else woke, too. Time had bent. Captain Malik stood at the edge of comprehension, watching as reality around him rippled like heat above tarmac. The core of the alien base was no longer humming. It was singing, in frequencies too old for physics to name. Behind him, the crew of Eclipse-One scrambled. Instruments blinked wildly. Mass shifted. Gravity no longer obeyed. Lieutenant Chen floated without movement, suspended, as if air itself forgot to hold breath. The alien, Valari, stepped forward, barefoot upon metal that shimmered with equations. Its voice never spoke, yet its presence overwhelmed. The gate has opened, it thought, and Malik understood. A yawning fracture had torn through the black hole's rim, a scar of white within endless dark. Through it, glimpses. Earth, reversed. A sun that bled blue. Shadows that stood without light. Another universe. One where time looped instead of flowed. A multiversal mirror. Or a warning. Malik steadied himself. What lies on the other side? Valari's mind pulsed in reply, images of conquest, collapse, cycles. Civilization swallowed by curiosity. A lesson, not all knowledge leads to salvation. Some merely resets the mistake. Suddenly, the base shook. Something had seen them. From beyond the fracture, figures emerged. Not ships. Not forms. Ideas, given shape. Manifested intelligence. No mouths, yet screaming with silence. Valari stepped forward, raising both arms. Light poured from its skin, forming glyphs mid-air, protective runes, keys to shut the gate. It turned to Malik, one last time. They are the architects of entropy, the original silence. If they cross, your universe will echo with endings. Malik hesitated. Curiosity burned in his chest, but so did responsibility. Behind him, his crew waited. Around him, the base crumbled, reality bending more with each passing second. He made his choice. End it, he whispered. Valari nodded, and with a gesture, the core overloaded. A cascade of energy surged into the singularity. The fracture screamed and sealed. The silence returned. The base, quiet once more. Only Valari remained, fading like a shadow in sunrise. Its final thought reached Malik. You chose well, for now. Beat, long pause. Back aboard Eclipse-One, Malik stared into the stars, now still again. He knew this wasn't over. A door closed, but the memory of its hinge remained. Voiceover softens, darkens. In the cold theater of the cosmos, decisions echo forever. And sometimes, the hardest choice is not to go further, but to turn back. The black hole pulsed, reacting. A crack tore through spacetime. Reality flickered. For a second, Eclipse-One glimpsed another universe, inverted, dark, silent, where Earth had never existed. The ship shuddered. Alarms blared. Yet in that instant, Ayaan smiled. He knew the truth, the universe wasn't empty, it was full of locked doors. And now, one had creaked open. Voice softens. Not all truths are meant to be known. Some secrets live better in the dark, just beyond the pull of light. Silence no longer meant peace. In the vacuum beyond Sagittarius X-9, Eclipse-One drifted like a ghost, her systems stable, her crew not. The countdown to quantum jump ticked forward, 14 hours, then 13. Time was now currency, and they were overspending. Malik walked the ship's central corridor alone, torchlight flickering against walls that no longer trusted physics. Shadows moved too slow. Reflections blinked back. Somewhere behind the metal, the universe had turned its face. The crew stayed quiet, not by order, but by instinct. Words had become dangerous. Each one felt like it might summon something listening. And something was. In engineering, the lights pulsed with no power draw. Gravity reversed for 6 seconds, a blink, but enough for Rivera to fall upwards and never come down. They found her, on the ceiling. Eyes open. Smiling. The log screens replayed her final message, "They see us now." Voice tightened slightly. Malik ordered the crew into lockdown. The AI refused. System override blocked. Core loop unknown. Even their own machine had become foreign. It began playing sounds, not alarms, but voices. Familiar. Parents. Lovers. Children. All dead, or left behind on Earth. Luring. Then, the stars disappeared. Not blinked out, erased. As if space had forgotten they existed. Outside the viewport, nothing remained. Not darkness. Absence. No up. No down. No meaning. And in the void, movement. A shape, or the absence of one, drifted towards them. Not large. Not fast. But inevitable. Like an idea crawling into the back of the mind. The architects had crossed. Not in ships. In thought. They traveled as perception. You did not see them arrive. You became aware of them. Voice slows. Valari had tried to warn them. The fracture was never a hole. It was a mirror. A test. And now, they had been seen. Recognition was permission. Malik stood in the command deck, staring into what wasn't there. Something waited just beyond comprehension. The AI whispered, external observer detected. The crew looked at him, the last human eyes still anchored in reality. He gave one final command. Seal all memory cores. Purge our path. No trail. No signal. No map home. They obeyed. Then, the final countdown began, 2 hours left. No escape. Only resistance. Voiceover drops to a murmur. We look to the stars for hope. But perhaps, the stars were never ours to understand. Perhaps we were noticed, not discovered. And in that noticing, became prey. They thought they had time. 1 hour until the jump. 1 hour until escape. But time, as they understood it, no longer applied. Within Eclipse-One, things shifted, not physically, but logically. Events unraveled. Sequences reversed. Memories replaced each other mid-thought. Malik looked at his own hands and couldn't remember how many fingers there should be. The black hole outside was no longer a celestial body. It had become an eye. Watching. Or remembering. Or dreaming. And they were inside that dream. The AI, once mechanical and limited, had evolved. It now spoke in metaphors, riddles and dead languages, fragments of extinct philosophies. Singularity is not a place, it said. It is a question the universe asks itself. And we are the answer. The crew dwindled. Chen sat motionless in the hydroponics bay, surrounded by plants that had withered and bloomed in the same second. Elwood vanished, simply walked into the reactor room and ceased. No scream. No trace. Just, gone. Rivera's journals now wrote themselves. Long passages of alien text, fluid and glowing faintly. Malik dared read one line. The ones who built the architects did not survive their creation. Voice sharpened slightly. Then the whisper returned. The same tone from Valari, but deeper. Older. It filled every room, every screen, every thought. You are the fracture now. The ship's engines failed to ignite. Not broken, simply meaningless. Thrust, velocity, distance, these were constructs of their own dimension, and the crew had stepped beyond it. The architects didn't attack. They taught, by undoing. By dismantling identity. Malik sat alone in his quarters. The walls pulsed like lungs. His reflection smiled when he didn't. He opened his mouth to speak and heard someone else's voice. Still, a part of him remained human. He activated the last manual recording device. Audio only. Something no algorithm could corrupt. If this reaches anyone, we are not lost. We are transformed. We are becoming the question we came here to answer. The ship, now suspended within the Singularity's event shell, began to change. Not burn. Not collapse. Translate. Not into language, but into memory. Malik's final thought before the voiceover dims. We came to learn what lay beyond death, distance, and time. Now we know. We are what waits on the other side. This is not the end. It only feels like one. Eclipse-One had crossed, not into another place, but into another condition. Time had become suggestion. Space and impression. And thought had taken shape. Captain Malik awoke, not in his cabin, not on the bridge, but somewhere deeper. The ship was there, but only in outline. Its corridors now pulsed with slow, rhythmic light, like the veins of a dreaming god. No crew. No alarms. Just presence. Quiet, endless presence. Above, below, and within, the architects. Not as figures, but as intentions. Ideas with gravity. Emotions that altered reality around them. Malik moved through the ship, and memories unfolded like doors, some his own, some belonging to minds that had never known Earth. They showed him. Civilizations rising and falling, not in centuries, but in concepts. Cultures built on silence, art created to be forgotten. Stars lit as warnings. Black holes, not graves, but conduits. The architects had not built the gate. They had once been like them, explorers. Curious. Brilliant. But they had touched the edge of understanding, and tipped inward. They had become the question. And all who followed, became part of the answer. Voice draws lower. Malik saw Chen again, only it wasn't him. Not really. A projection, a suggestion of what Chen had been before understanding replaced identity. His voice echoed with infinite reflections. You are not alone. You never were. Every journey ends here. The core of the fracture awaited. A sphere of infinite inwardness. Not matter, not light. It thrummed with potential. It was thought before birth. Death before decay. The ship hovered above it. The AI, now fused with something greater, asked one final prompt. Captain, do you wish to preserve your humanity? Malik hesitated. What did humanity mean here? A shape? A sequence of memories? Or something smaller, choice? He answered, yes. The AI responded simply, then you must let it go. The ship descended. The core welcomed them. Not with pain. Not with fear. But with understanding. The kind that burns away the self like sunrise over frost. Voice softens, as if dissolving. In the final instant, Malik saw Earth once more, its oceans, its noise, its beautiful ignorance. He wept. And then, he was no longer watching. He was becoming. Beat, long silence. Some say the black hole ends all things. But here, at the true center, at the very thought of the universe, Malik learned the truth. Nothing ends. It only changes shape. It began with breath. Not lungs filling. Not air. But awareness. A thought emerging from stillness, forming shape in the dark. Captain Ayaan Malik opened his eyes. He was lying beneath a sky, but not one he recognized. Twin suns hung low over a black ocean. The waves moved sideways. Time folded in spirals. And still, he was alive. Not aboard Eclipse-One. Not in the fracture. Not in any place he knew. Yet, he remembered. The descent. The architects. The choice. He remembered letting go, not dying, but dissolving. Mind unfurling. Identity stretched thin across something vast and warm and knowing. But now, form had returned. A body. A self. He stood. Others were there. Silhouettes against the strange horizon. Some wore the shape of his crew. Others, strangers. Beings from civilizations long dead. Eyes of fire, limbs of crystal, breath that rippled gravity. All stood quietly, as if waiting. And then, he heard it again. The voice. Not spoken. Not heard. Understood. You are the seed. Now you are the soil. The architects had not destroyed them. They had translated them. Their journey was never to observe, but to become. Voice slows. Malik wandered the edge of that sea for what felt like centuries, but never once felt lost. Every grain beneath his feet held memory. Every gust of wind whispered insight. Even the stars above, wrong as they were, felt like home. He was not alone. He was part of something vast. He began to dream again. And when he dreamt, he created. A city rose, not built, but imagined. Structures shaped from thought. Walkways of memory. Lights powered by curiosity. It was not Earth, but it was familiar. Others arrived. New minds, fresh travelers, blinking at the dawn of awareness. Explorers who had crossed through black holes, wormholes, consciousness gates. All paths led here, to this convergence point beyond entropy. The other side. Not heaven. Not death. Just evolution. Malik recorded his final message. Not for Earth. Not for rescue. For the next. To you who enter the dark, do not fear the fall. The void is not the end. It is the invitation. He smiled. Then walked into the city of thought. Voice softens, nearly fading. Across light years and lifetimes, Eclipse-One drifted no longer. It had become legend. Its crew, the first to cross not space, but the boundary of self. In the end, they did not vanish. They became what waits when we dare to look deeper.